guys, this is Tarot with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today I would like to show you my top decks for spirit communication. Some people have asked me, like, when I do my mediumship readings, are there particular decks that I use? And so although I don't always use decks for my mediumship readings, oftentimes it's just downloads that are coming through me. And basically, I guess, like, I'm the deck of cards and I'm just translating the information that comes through me. Every once in a while, I do like to incorporate cards as well. And there are a few particular decks that I always use. I mean, I could technically sort of use other decks that I have and like my tarot cards, but I usually mostly use oracle cards. And I try to have oracle cards that do not have any keywords and it's just an image, because that's basically how my downloads come into my brain. It's images, or it's words, or it's music, or feelings, or whatever it is. And so it best mimics, like, especially like my visual mediumship skills, is how I would use the oracle decks. But I could use tarot decks and I could use some other decks, but I'm just saying these are the ones that I'm pretty much always going to grab if I'm going to be communicating with spirit. Like I said, oftentimes spirit communicates in images, or I'll hear bits of phrases, words. Oftentimes it comes in through like lines of movies, like movie quotes, or I'll start hearing a song and it's like the lyrics in the song, or the song has meaning to it. Very rarely will I smell like cigarette smoke or perfume, and usually that's just like anytime I smell things, it's like for like my grandparents, really. But that's kind of a rarity. But I'll feel things. So I feel, I see, I hear. There's a plethora of ways that I am in tune and communicating with spirit, and I believe that we all have that ability. It's just at varying levels of being open, and how much you have tried to utilize these various skills. Maybe you have certain skills that you don't even know you have, and so if you haven't worked on it, you don't really know you have it. Let's jump into these decks. The first deck, the deck that I am going for almost all the time, is going to be my Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle, because it's so simple. And actually all the backs are pretty much different, which is kind of cool. But there's just a simple little image and a simple little keyword. And so if I'm trying to work with spirit, and I'm like, I don't know, like, who is with me right now? And then we have comment, which actually I was just listening about. We have this massive asteroid that's going to pass near Earth on April 29th, and it should be visible to the naked eye, or busting out your telescope, and it's supposed to be pretty cool. So I think that's pretty awesome. So the comet is coming. Or sorry, the asteroid. But I could try to use my intuition. Okay, what does that mean? I might ask other questions, like, are you somebody from this area, or are you a foreigner? And we have the owl. Well, we do have an owl. Like, oh, I know who this is, sir, old cat. Never mind, I know who this is. As I'm trying to make this video, like I said, I'm using my intuition as I'm like looking at these cards. So my dude used to take our old cat out in the backyard sometimes at night to go look at the stars, back when he was very sick before he passed away. And that was like a little ritual that they would do, and they would, like, there would be this owl that they could hear nearby, and sometimes, because you can't really hear owls like flapping, you'll just feel this like whoosh of like the owl going by. And there was this owl that was always like kind of hanging out with them anytime they went and hung out. So I don't know, that's just kind of like my sign that this is our old cat Presley, who is here. Of course he's here. But anyway, yeah, Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle. I think this is great for spirit communication. It's simple little images, simple keywords, and you can string that together to form a story, and then use your intuition to try to fill in like the connectors and the blanks and the transitions and all of that. Okay, so there's that one. And then the other one that I pull for is my John Waterhouse Oracle. And this one doesn't have any keywords, which I love. And those are the backs. You could customize the backs. I got this on Etsy. But yeah, it's all just various scenes, you know, well, created by John Waterhouse. And from there, I try to, again, just like the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle, like piece together a story of what Spirit's trying to tell me. Because much like our, you know, our mind, our, you know, dreaming state, all of that, it works in symbols and images. And so I believe that that's the easiest way for Spirit to communicate is through symbols and images. And hey, great if they can get us to, you know, hear words or, you know, hear music in my head, you know, because, you know, maybe they're tapping into the electrical impulses of my brain, because they too are basically like electricity, their energy. And so I think that's kind of how they communicate with us. Like I'm just like some sort of transistor radio and they're just trying to crank it to the station, you know, that would be best understood by the person that I'm doing a read for, or maybe, you know, I'm reading for myself, you know, who knows. So again, I might do that same thing. Who is in the room with me? Ooh, we have Little Miss Pandora. So we have Sneaky Sneaky, which makes me think that Loki's nearby. I thought I heard his little purr. Anything else about this person? She is next to the girl, next to the skull, playing with crystals. I happen to have a crystal skull up there, and yes, I like to play with crystals. So I'm pretty sure that's just a spirit letting me know that the Lokester is nearby and not necessarily any information about themselves, which again could be my old cat Presley. But see, you know, again, it's just piecing together your intuition, what's coming to you. So I think that, you know, this is another great deck if you're looking for a deck for some spirit communication, because, you know, sometimes I think the hardest thing to do is to trust ourselves, you know, and the information that we're getting. And although I do trust myself, yes, I need like confirmation sometimes. So like that's when I bust out my cards. I'm like, okay, yeah, because that's what was going on in my head. And okay, that's what's going on in the cards. Like, okay, you know, so I like to do that. All right, here are some other decks that I sometimes will pull from, but not as much as these two. Like these are my two heavy hitters that I will use if I'm doing like a mediumship reading. So if you get a reading from me, like expect to, if I'm going to use cards, like expect to see these two. But every once in a while, I will use these other ones as well. One of them is called the Sweet Ladies Oracle, and this was a gift from my friend in Belgium. So it's half in French, half in English. I don't know if it's available here. It might be. But it's also just like the John Waterhouse Oracle, except, no, this one doesn't have keywords either. But where it's just images. And again, that works for me. It works. Because like I said, you know, what's coming into my brain is images. And so I need an oracle deck that kind of mimics what's going on in my head. So again, I could say like, Grandma, are you nearby? Grandpa. Yes, the light-haired lady with the dark-haired lady. Grandma's nearby. You know, and I can go on like that, and I can ask some questions, and hey, maybe at the end of this I'll do like an actual, like talking to somebody who's here. Not that I haven't already been doing that, but I mean, like do a little bit more serious, more intense. Okay, another deck that I think is great for spirit communication is the Divine Muses Oracle. And this is one I got a couple of weeks ago, and I have been using like nonstop for spirit communication. Like I was using it for like one card pulls, like daily morning pulls, and I don't know, I just kind of felt like spirit communication was better suited for this deck. So those are the backs. Again, I got this one off of Etsy, and it's got a lot of vintage vibes to it. It's got the elements, it's got the muses, it's got all types of stuff like animals, as you know, animal archetypes, all kinds of stuff. But I also feel that it's got some good stuff in terms of like spirit communication. So Presley, in this deck, how would you describe yourself? The magical child, of course. He's my little magical dude. He's our little land-based sea otter, what we used to call him. My dude would call him his little lion sometimes, hence the sunflower. I just now got that. um, yeah, so, you know, like I said, this is also great for spirit communication. And then we have another one, which actually I think is more geared towards spirit communication. And this one's by Claire Goodchild. I love all her stuff. The Memento Mori. So this is a Lenormand and an Oracle deck, but you could put all the cards together and just make a massive Oracle deck if you wanted. But here are the backs, totally reversible if you wanted to do that. But again, it's symbols, it's simple images. And then down at the bottom, it's not really a keyword, I guess. It's just more like a word of like what it is. Like, this is a broom, and this one is a tear catcher, you know? So to me, it's more just images. And I'm trying to just, with these symbols, because it's mostly just symbols instead of images like the John Waterhouse Oracle or the Sweet Ladies Oracle, is now taking symbols instead and trying to piece all these symbols together to make a story. And this one I think is pretty intense when it comes to like working with spirit energy, you know, so that's why I don't bust it out all the time for spirit communication, because it's like intense, like some bigger energies want to come through. But it's a great deck, you know, if I'm going to be doing some mediumship stuff. And lastly, it's 3 decks because they're the same kind of deck, and it's my Gypsy Cards. And I keep my 2 vintagey ones in this little pouch so that they don't get all messed up, because their boxes are pretty old. But here we have the old Gypsy fortune telling cards. This is a really old pack. It's from like the 40s or something like that. And then I have my old Gypsy cards here. These are, where are these from? Early 1900. They're pretty old too. So I might bust those out, but you know, I'm not trying to hurt those cards. So I might use my newer version of Gypsy Cards. And so the reason I would use these is because they do have people cards in them. Like they have like the sweetheart, they have the like military person, they have the widow, the widower, you know, stuff like that. So, and you could again piece together a story like marriage, you know, falseness. And here we have the message, and you can just put them all together to create your story again. And there are people in here so that you can put that people story together with the spirit that you are connecting to. Okay, so like if I did like a question here, what spirit is near me right now? And then I might be like, what is your message? You know, and of course I might pull more cards from that. The spirit that's with me right now is visit. So I got a little ghosty visitor. Of course I do. The message is enemies. So maybe like, watch out for your enemies. You keep your enemies, your friends close and your enemies closer, you know. You know, but I think this deck is really good for that type of spirit communication as well. So also, if you are going to be doing some mediumship, you are going to be doing some spirit communication, I do say that, you know, you want to keep your environment high vibe. Some people want to do it because it's scary and like, let's get ourselves scared. And I think that that's kind of disrespectful to spirit, who all they want to do is communicate with, you know, anybody. You know, if they come to our plane, it's because they want to do some form of communication. They have to get a message out. They want to say hi. And to merely call in their energy to get a thrill and to be scared, I think would be, you know, a disservice to, you know, honoring that energy that's coming in. You know, once I have shed my body and I'm in spirit, if I'm like, yes, somebody is finally wanting to communicate with me, and I like have so much to tell them, and all they do is like scream in my face and run away, I'm gonna be a little disappointed. So I try to see it from, you know, spirit's point of view. So, you know, just remember to set your environment, again, keep it high vibe. You can, you know, have some nice music going in the background, light candles. You could do it during the day, during the night, and not get yourself into this is spooky and this is scary, because it's really, I'm just communicating with energy that just doesn't have a body anymore. And also you put the intention out there that I am only communicating with energy that is high vibrational and for my best and highest good. And I do feel sometimes energies that come in that are low vibrating. They are tricksters. They usually don't have like my best interest at heart. And I just tell them to go away. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to entertain your business right now. I have other people that I'd love to talk to, and they pretty much leave after that. So know that you have full control over who it is that you speak with. Just make sure that you're always checking in with your gut, that this isn't somebody who's posing as, like, let's say a loved one, that this really is your loved one. So you might want to ask questions that only your loved one would know. But anyway, I said that I would do a little reading. So let's see. Let's use my Mildred Payne, because like I said, that's that's the deck that I'm pretty much always going to pull from, but I do like using the other decks that I just showed you. The Gypsy card deck that I was showing you when I was using the cards, this was the retro Gypsy deck by Lynn Boyle. And these ones were just my two vintagey ones. I don't think those are the ones you'll be able to find as readily as you could the retro Gypsy cards. Okay, so let's take Mildred Payne's Secret Pocket Oracle, and you know what? Let's put a message out there for somebody who's watching. Maybe they can gain a message. And also, whenever I do videos where I do like video messages and there's multiple people or like, that's me, I think that spirit doesn't just come on their own. Like, they don't just drop in on our plane alone, because I think that it takes a lot of energy to do that. So it would be better if like they banded together, like, I don't know, like Care Bear Stare, and like multiple spirits came over, but they acted as one spirit. So it might sound like it's just my cat coming through, but it's also his grandma and her cousin and his uncle, and and it's all these people banding together, and they come through. And the message that's given, I might be able to understand part of the message because that's the part that's coming from my cat, but all the other parts of the message may not make sense to me, or they might, but they're really making sense to so many other people, because it's like, if you're going to exert the energy to come onto this plane, you're going to make sure that a lot of people can get their messages out to a lot of different people, so that it's not just one person that receives healing and closure, but possibly quite a number of people. So that's what I think, at least when I'm doing these YouTube videos, and if I'm doing a reading, that multiple people are going to understand the message, because that's probably the best way to do it. Get a multitude of messages out in like one shot, where it sounds like one person, but it's not. And I just rhymed. How about that? Okay, so I'm looking for a spirit who would like to come through with the best and highest good of all those involved, who is either giving a message to myself and all the people who are watching, or just to all the people who are watching. But let's give some healing and closure to somebody in particular. So who is coming through? We have the Eye. So, okay, so right away, the feeling that I have, because it was a few people that were like, I'm coming through, and it probably is a few people, but the main energy that is pulling all these people through is not only somebody who is very clairvoyant, but is also of Indian descent. So from India, possibly somebody who wore like the evil eye, to ward off the evil eye type jewelry, like on a ring or a necklace. So this energy is female. And I'm asking you like a symbol that really would help whoever's watching this understand that this is you. So a symbol that really drives home that this is you. This is somebody who always had their nose in a book. They were a teacher. Okay, so this is an Indian woman, again, possibly very clairvoyant, who wore jewelry that had the evil eye on it to ward off the evil eye, so like a necklace or a ring, but she was very learned, She had her nose in a book all the time, and I have a feeling that she was an educator. Or she's speaking to an educator, which I'm an educator. But anything else about her? What is your big message? So I'm going to pull 3 cards to piece together a story for your big message. Here's number 1. Number 2. And number 3. Wow, that is an interesting little message you have there. So we have the pipe, we have the dagger, and we have a rope. Okay, so what I'm getting with this is whoever it is that they are speaking to, they're talking about a male. So this woman that's coming through is talking about a male. So that's, I guess, why I was also like, I was getting like male first and then like female was coming through. So maybe these two are coming through together. So I have a feeling that, you know, with this dagger, that this person was in a very dark place. And I feel like this person obviously has crossed over as well, this obvious man and woman. But the woman is talking about the man that's with her. So this could possibly be her husband. It could be her son. But she's talking about a man that's coming through who tend to be all up in his head and just kind of spiraled out. And I do feel like this person took his life. And the reason she wants to get that message out is because a lot of people in the family feel that maybe they can't believe that he would do something like that, you know, that it must have been foul play. It must have been somebody else did this to him or somebody else forced him to do that, that this couldn't possibly be. And so the reason she's coming through, maybe this was more like grandma coming through and she's talking about her grandkid, but she's saying, yes, you know, unfortunately, yes, you know, it was by his own hand. He had a lot going on in his head that he didn't voice to other people. And so, you know, that's why it seems like a shock, because people weren't in on what he was saying to himself, what he was, the types of words that he used with himself, kind of how dark he really was on the inside, even if that's not what he was showing on the outside. Okay, so I know that she'll probably want to give a message about him now, because obviously he's with her. Okay, so we have a tree, foot, and tooth. Okay, so I am getting that, you know, like family is together, they're solid, they're strong. And also with tooth, like I see that as like wisdom, but I also see that as like luck. I don't know why people see like teeth as lucky. But it's like they're on solid ground again, and actually they're dancing together. So that's also what I got with foot, was dancing. So you know, oftentimes with like different religions, they believe that if somebody takes their life, that something bad will happen to them in the afterlife. You know, Christianity believes, you know, in purgatory and hell, and there are other religions that believe something like that, that it's like some sort of sin, you know, to take your life. And so what she's saying is that on the other side, it's not like he's being punished for his actions. It's just that he gets to be with his family now. Everybody's like secure, they're together, they're dancing. Things are great. He's not plagued by, you know, that bad tooth anymore. He's not plagued by, you know, those thoughts anymore. He's gained a lot of wisdom from this past life and his actions. Yeah, but he's with this woman that's come through, either his grandmother or his mother. Yeah, so I hope that that helps whoever was watching and that message really connects with you. But anyway, yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, my top decks for spirit communication, also with a little spirit communication activity that we did at the end. And yeah, I will catch you spiritual homies later. If you dug this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe, and don't forget to click that ding 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 notification bell for more videos just like this. And if you would like to do this as well, we'll make it like a hashtag my fave spirit decks, you know, something like that. So maybe I'll put that there. Hashtag my fave spirit decks. If you want to jump in on this too, just tag me, Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. Or you can just tag me on Instagram if you want to put it there at Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, or make a video. I mean, what the hey, you know, have some fun. In my Etsy shop, my Etsy shop and my website, kittensweightsandtarot.com, like I said, I have a lot of different readings. I have my mediumship readings. I also have my Wally's World Oracle that was community created and community funded. And that's my little Wally Wallito that's on the front. And this deck I use once in a while when I'm looking for a specific area that a spirit is coming from, because there are so many places that are in this deck around the world. And I have my room and body sprays. I have my salves. I have like one bracelet that I made left. You know, everybody else bought all my different bracelets. I only have a very limited number of those witch kits left because they're very popular. And if you want to throw a little spirit love my way, think about joining the KWT tribe over at patreon.com/kittens, weights, and tarot. I have a lot of different stuff on there for you guys. In fact, we just did a live chat where we talked about past lives, and we looked at different techniques we can use to access our past lives and what it would mean to do healing in the past and how that affects our present. So if something like that interests you, definitely check out my Patreon page. And yeah, I will catch you spiritual homies later. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.